Most certainly, guys. We are here in game number 7, and actually this has been a really, really good best of 9 so far. Very neck and neck. Let's see which one of these guys will take it. In the top left is the Red Terran player representing Team Fnatic, known for the SCV train. But this is a very big map. We might not have that here. We'll find out. It is Naama. And spawning in the top right position is the blue Protoss player, battling back tooth and nail to manage to come back in that last game. Really, really well fought, but he needs to close it out. Being equal is not enough. Will it be his year? It is Harstem.
No, I disagree with you there, Joe. So he's not fighting back tooth and nail. He's fighting back tooth and storm. These storms have literally kept Harstem in this series. He has done so well, getting them every time that he desperately needs it, and Naama just hasn't had an answer to it.
Oh, Nick. Yeah. Dear, oh dear. Year of Heart. I have no idea what Free Feltham is.
No clue.
No idea.
But I do know what... You are aware that quite a few people have been tweeting at Harstem with Year of Harstem. Which is, by the way, if you just joined us now, regardless of the result, you have to tweet at Harstem, hashtag Year of Harstem. And if you don't know why, don't worry. Don't worry.
I would definitely tweet that. Let me just take a look. Oh yeah, there are other tweets. Year of Harstem. I just did a quick search for them on Twitter. Thank you guys very much for that. I'm sure Harstem does appreciate it. And wow, a lot of Justin Bieber references getting chucked out in this chat here.
Yep. Well, what can you say? Harstem, big fan. What's the term for a Justin Bieber fan? Isn't it a belieber or something?
I was gonna say it, and then I realized I would. That would mean I'd admit to knowing, so I decided to tactically remain silent.
Was it a believer, though? Just tell me if I'm correct.
Yes, you are correct.
Ah, yes. No, but it doesn't mean we're fans. It just means that we're savvy with our social media terms.
Okay, no, I'm willing to go with that. That sounds like an acceptable compromise. Fair enough. So, of course, guys, this is Whirlwind, a really huge map. Not much going on at the beginning. All spawns are possible, which is why they're both spawning in the top section of the map. Neither player has scouted the other at the moment. Naama playing it very safe. Bunker going down immediately. And that's because he went, of course, for that very quick expansion. Now getting his second gas. Meanwhile, in Le Base de Harstem, we can see the Nexus about to go down off of that one gate.
Indeed, we will. The probe happily running around on a little patrol command there that our observer is highlighting to us. The mothership core also coming down quite early here for Naama, and this is, well, no problem with that. It just means that he's got the good defense, can start banking up that energy for the potential need of a photon overcharge, because the one thing I've noticed is we haven't had much cheese out of Naama recently.
That's true, actually. Naama's been content to play the longer game, and to be fair, I think the most accurate way to say it is he's almost pulling it off. He's had Harstem on the ropes several times where Harstem has won a game. And that's been really frustrating, as we saw at the end of that last game, for Naama. Of course, great news for Harstem there, just constantly never giving up. And that's earned him a few victories. But Naama really wants to be able to put the nail in the coffin. His timings have been fantastic. He's been doing a lot of damage to Harstem, but he needs to dodge those storms. The one thing he hasn't been doing.
Well, it's an incredibly close series, as you've said and as you've summarized, and this is what's the real test on these two, because being teammates, there's a certain amount of banter rights involved with winning show matches against a teammate, it must be said, and neither of the player wants to be on the receiving end of that for the foreseeable future.
And Harstem was telling me at the Intel Extreme Masters as well how he really wanted to get back into playing and make sure that he gets like a few really good tournament results. Obviously, he was there as basically talking on the analysis desk as opposed to as a player. And he was just talking about how unbelievably much he wants to go out there and prove that he is among these top players. And I mean, a great way to start that would be to make sure you have as much bragging rights as possible within your team so that they get behind you. And right now, he might be able to do it against Naama, but it's neck and neck.
It is indeed very, very close in this series. Blue Flame is being researched at the moment by Naama. He had a lot of success in game 3, if I do recall correctly, with those Blue Flame Hellions. Just trying to replicate that yet again, because I'd say that it's fair that Harstem has been ahead in terms of economy in most of these games for the majority of them, and that's what has allowed him in the later stages to really pull forward. And Naama has got an annoying supply block at the moment, and that's not something you really want in these early stages.
Oh, both players supply blocked right now, actually. Harstem on 60 and Naama was on 54. It looks like they're going to get resolved very quickly indeed. And Naama, this time now, it's interesting you mentioned last game he didn't have very good luck going with mech. He's doing it again here on Whirlwind. What do you make of that?
It's an interesting decision, I must say, because none of the games he's gone mech, he has won. So clearly just desperate to try and make this work, trying different strategies. Harstem, though, doing pretty much the only build he apparently knows against Terran, because he's done it every single game so far.
Yeah, this is an interesting point for Naama to go back into mech play. He's obviously not deterred by those games that he lost. This hallucinated Phoenix is going to, of course, spot all of the factories here, knows exactly what's going on. A lot of mech coming out from him, massive amounts, and we have the transition between Hellbat and Hellion, pardon me, being researched from that factory now as well. So those existing Hellions coming out of that reactor will be able to transform.
Now, really, what are your thoughts, Josa, on the fact that Harstem is going for the same build he's done every single game in this series?
I like that Harstem has been consistent. I think what has won Harstem these games is not because of his build, but more because of what he's done off the back of it. His micro and his storms have been phenomenal against Naama, but otherwise, he's actually had a couple of real close shaves where Naama, to be honest, would have won the game if it weren't for the difference of 1 or 2 storms. So in that sense, I think that Harstem needs to be scouting a lot more. He is moving observers.
A Hellion drop's coming in. Sorry to interrupt you there, but a double Hellion drop. One in the main, one in the natural. This could potentially do a lot of damage. There are some stalks and a photon cannon there, though, in the main base. The sentries, though, potentially one goes down. The second one just saved at the natural. That was a really nice defense by Harstem there. He did still lose 9 workers, though.
He lost way more than 9. That was a massive hit. Going up to 19 in the main base now. All of those probes lined the hell up, Maddles. And damn, was that a huge hit. Great spot there. And finally, Naama gets some serious damage done on his first try. That was a huge moment.
That was a very, very important Hellion hit. Going from 9 to 19 is exceptionally effective, and it has put Naama now 10 workers ahead, plus mules. But the third Nexus is complete for Harstem, and has been scouted as well by Naama. So he may try and react to that, running 4 Hellions in there. Yet again, Blue Flame really being utilized effectively so far this match.
So, back to what I was saying a little bit before, what concerns me about Harstem's play is that, yes, he observers in a lot of good places, but he hasn't really been poking out and checking out the main base of his opponent into the mid-game as much. And I'm worried he's getting to a point where he goes, oh, I've managed to hold off, here comes some Hellions, never mind, into the third base location, Blue Flame roasting quite a few off those probes there. Not really very quick to react. At the moment, is Harstem.
Well, there's a drop coming down in the main as well, and also now some more Hellions running into the natural. So this is just Naama going everywhere at once, and this is really frustrating.
Oh, they're lining up. What a
great
clutch
warp-in.
Hero Zealot.
That was a ghostly warp-in right there. That was absolutely brilliant. Like,
that was 10 guaranteed probe kills.
If I had a hat on right now, Harstem, I would be taking it off to you. That was baller.
That was very, very good. And wow, well, Naama looking like he's going to follow up this economic damage with an all-in anyway. And to be honest, when you have 34 workers killed in the game, why not? An observer does actually spot the army moving out. And here's what Harstem hasn't been seeing. He hasn't been seeing tech going into the mid-game from Naama. I think he's been mistakenly assuming that his build is just comfortably holding everything off, when in reality he's had quite a few close shaves. And it's been down to his micro that he's been winning those games, as opposed to anything else. And now Naama going to be pushing in towards the natural and third, but he's trying to isolate the third so he can go with just a small number of units and pick it apart. He will be able to do so. Massive
engagement in the middle.
Huge.
Absolutely wow.
Oh dear, two storms on top of each other there, actually not the greatest, I have to admit. And this time, all the tanks are alive. There's still a small squad of Marines and at 4 or 5 Hellions, and that is going to make all the difference. The SCVs were not in the front. The initial storms did not kill all of the SCVs, and because of that, Naama still has a large supporting army. And as a result, I feel like he's in such a good position this game compared to the other times he's all in.
Yeah, this is just an amazing, amazing spot for him to be in. I'm surprised that Naama hasn't actually tried to take out the third base, but he's already killed 35 workers this game. He is still ahead in the SCV count, even though he's pulled some along with this push. The Photon Overcharge has been used, the tank's falling back, but already in a great siege position.
Yeah, and Naama needs to be a little bit careful because that third base is still generating income. Okay, there we go, moving in to take it out now. The worker count is surprisingly 48 to 41 in favor of Naama. Not actually that much of a difference right now. So needs to be very careful. If Harstem manages to get a sweet engagement or a couple of clutch storms like he's done in previous games, that would be great. But I don't see any High Templars with storms out at the moment, or here come a few. Do they have storm available? Yes, they do. Is it going to be enough, though? And here we go, engaging into the choke. We need some storms, and we need them now. Oh,
and there they come. The storm raining down the pain.
Not again.
That was very painful, but a lot of tanks are still remaining, but they've got no supporting units. The Immortals tanking up a lot of this damage. The Archon's doing well, and Harstem, he's done it again.
Again? Are you serious? Unbelievable. Harstem is... I mean... is it fair for me to say that Naama lost that battle more than Harstem won it?
Yes. He had all of his tanks together. They were all sieged up.
Before. History has repeated itself so many times at this point, and admit Harstem's going to retake his third. He's at 84 supply versus 89 of Naama right now, and Naama, he just can't catch a break with this push. It looks like he's going to win the game every time he does that push. And every time he's done it, Harstem has come back with some absolutely ridiculous storms and great positioning that's not only kept him in the game, but is really making Naama look like he doesn't really have an advantage anymore.
Yeah, the one thing I love that Naama's doing is he's sending those 3 Hellions around to scout every base. It's almost like he's thinking, there seems to be too much stuff out. How did you possibly hold that? Now, the other thing I'd like to note as well is that mech against Protoss is very effective, but you need one additional unit Naama doesn't have. Ghosts. Because if he can deal with those High Templar, imagine how different that engagement would have gone without those storms.
Oh yeah, you're completely right. And we don't actually see any ghosts out this game, interesting, which is a contrast because Naama has been making ghosts in this series, but he opted instead to put his gas into the earlier mech play. We have a couple of drops going down, and oh dear, and it looks like that medevac is going to take an early exit from this world, but we have the third base, a few more Hellions coming out. Unfortunately, they're just going to see a Nexus in construction, won't be able to kill too many workers indeed. In the meantime, Harstem getting a decent position in the middle of the map, really controlling the space there. He's going to try and deny this third.
Well, it's going to be a good attempt at it because already, well, these High Templar don't want to go in alone. Not go alone, High Templar. Run away, run away.
Run.
Hover.
Nope.
Hover away, technically.
Okay. That was close. And he's moving back! Stop it! Oh,
yeah, that High Templar was a bit suicidal. He had issues.
He definitely had issues, man. He needed to see a shrink, seriously. Oh my god. Very suicidal there. We've got another massive number of tanks, and I am so concerned that a forward pile and a warp-in of approximately 1 trillion zealots means that if Harstem comes in with 2 or 3 storms and picks off the Hellbats, then the zealots go in with charge and finish off the tanks, like we've seen time and time again. A couple of zealots at the third base getting picked apart there, and a couple of Hellions trying to do some run-around damage, also getting denied. And here we go, the zealots warp-ins are coming at the top.
Well, here comes Harstem. He is moving forward. Naama was trying to go for some counterattack, but it was not effective. And as we can see, these tanks just taking, so much damage. A storm hitting yet again. Oh, dear, Naama.
Harstem's got it. He's got it.
Yep.
Too many tanks, too little support.
Yeah, this is now Harstem's game.
Yep, and Naama's pulling SCVs, but not to attack. He needs to get them out of there at the moment. He's trying to block the ramp with them on hold position so that the tanks on top can do as much damage as they possibly can. But all Harstem has to do is move out here and hit the third. He doesn't actually have to go in and attack the main if he doesn't want to.
No, he can just sit there and decide that that's natural base is not going to do anything. The third can now be taken out comfortably. The smart thing Harstem has done as well behind this is there was a lot of attempts by Naama to go in with some Hellions, but Harstem kept just a few Stalkers back in order to deal with those. Such a good move, preventing him losing really any more workers. So now with the third base getting destroyed, the Planetary Fortress desperately trying to heal, but it's not going to be able to do too much. The Hellions are trying their best to take out some Immortals, but not really an effective engagement.
Yeah, Harstem now over 50 supply ahead. I don't think Harstem has been ahead in this series since the beginning, it has to be said, and he is getting close now to taking a 4-3 lead, moving back into the natural expansion. A lot of SCVs getting pulled. They have to move back into the main base. He's fighting with them now as well, but the Zealots are absolutely tearing through them. The Immortals doing a number on the siege check. He's going to be able to walk straight into the main base, and I fear this is the beginning of the end for Naama. He's going for a counter attack against the third, but it's just 3 Hellions. It's not going to be anywhere close to enough, and he'll have to tap out here.
Yeah, this is an unwinnable situation now. That tank can do as much as he wants, the Hellbats can do as much as they want, but ultimately it comes down to the fact that Harstem still has 60 probes against 12 SCVs, 4 bases, V1 now. And yeah, not too fun.
Oh dear, GG.